February 24th, 12:14 p.m. District Court, courtroom number 9. You probably saw me saving earlier. Yeah, I'm recording this immediately afterwards because I can't wait to get to the next episode. Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Ahdurin region. I'm your host, Ahdurin himself. Welcome back to the Ace Attorney series. A lot of information has been dropped on us. I highly recommend going down to the playlist below and checking out all the previous episodes, especially the last one, because, stuff happened. While you're down there, leave a like, comment, subscribe, do all those things you ought to do when supporting a YouTube channel. Without further ado, let's get back into the trial. For the first time, I think in any case ever, it's just Phoenix by himself. In the original one, it's the original one's Mia. The second one, at a certain point, Maya joins you, so there's a brief period there. And then Maya joins you for the rest of them, and then Emma's been here for this time, but Emma's not even here. The court will now reconvene for the trial of Miss Lana Sky. Emma didn't come back. Allow me to call the next witness to the stand. The officer in charge of guarding the evidence room on the day of the crime. Looks like Marshall's here. Witness, please state your name and occupation. Me, partner? Oh, I'm just a man, same as you, wandering the trails of civilization. Occasionally helping the elderly cross intersections when needed. Yes, we get it. Oh, I know, you're a patrolman. As for my name, if you listen hard enough, you can hear the howling wind calling it out. To be exact, it's Jake Marshall, Your Honor. Howling wind? Never heard Edgeworth described that way before. Now, Mr. Marshall, let me ask you something. You were in charge of guarding the evidence room on the day of the crime took place. Is this correct? According to the papers, partner. What do you mean? Desperado's soul is as boundless as the desert sands. No paper can sum it up. Maybe it's best if we get on with this quickly. Please share with us your testimony of the day of the crime in plain old English. All right. Time to get going. Day of the crime. My job was to keep a wary eye on the bone orchard. I said I was supposed to make rounds 3 times a day, but that ain't my style. Besides, the room's protected by 2 security systems anyway. If I remember right, I was at a street side saloon at the time it went down. Just an innocent traveling man, so if you're out of ammo, it's time I hit the trail. I can't say I particularly care for your attitude. I can't say I care for your beard, but you don't see me complaining. Wait a minute. What do you mean by 2 security systems? I mean the security cameras and the ID card reader. I reckon even a cowpoke like you know about those. Yeah, what about the fingerprint-activated locks in the evidence locker? Fingerprint-activated locks? What kind of newfangled doohickeys are those? I'm being very helpful here. He's not that good with machines or with following orders. Everyone's got their weaknesses now, don't they, Mr. Prosecutor? This one seems like trouble. Okay, Mr. Wright, he's all yours. I'm confused. If he has no idea about the security systems, how do we get his fingerprints? Alright. Oh, I don't want to go ahead. Hold up. That's Bone Orchard. Sorry. How exactly did you keep an eye on the evidence room? I just made sure nothing moved in the security camera monitor. That room's so still, even time dies in there. I was just a caretaker who interred the recordings. You interred them? Videos of nothing aren't that useful. When time would come, I'd erase the tape. Nothing unusual is recorded tapes are to be erased every 6 hours. Each time I'd erase a tape, I felt like I was erasing a part of my life. He has a flair for the dramatic, but it isn't going to do him any good. So in actuality, you don't physically enter the evidence room. It's supposed to make rounds 3 times a day, but that ain't the style. But you made your rounds on the day of the crime, right? Ain't you heard a word I said, partner? I told you that ain't my style. I'm afraid I don't understand. No desperado guy no lets rules get in his way. No desperados I know joined the police force, but here we are. So, Officer Marshall, on the day of the crime... Just between you and me, I didn't set foot in the evidence room that day. There was a rubber glove stuck in the victim's locker. Do you know anything about that? Sorry, partner. Can't say I do. I haven't been in that crypt in weeks. This is how does this guy avoid being fired? That's a fair point. Besides, the room's protected by 2 security systems anyway, yeah, but not really. You used to be a detective, so you used the evidence room in the past, correct? Of course, back in the day, my locker was a gold mine of evidence. And yet, you didn't know about the fingerprint locking mechanism. Sorry, partner. I ain't good with machines. I couldn't even tell you how a bike works. That's, quite incredible. Anyway, the sensors on the locker handles cannot be seen. It's well known that some detectives are unaware of their presence. You mentioned that Detective Gumshoe said something sort of similar to that, too.
At any rate, it doesn't seem like this is relevant to the crime. Can you tell us what you were doing when the crime took place?
I remember, right, I was at a street-side saloon at the time it went down. Right. Hold up. You weren't even there. What were you doing in a place like that? I was eating spaghetti. Not even Angel steak lunches can beat that parlor's Vongo Sepia pasta.
You mean to tell us you abandoned your police duties to eat some noodles?
Not all desperados eat tacos, partner.
That's not what I meant. This has at least taught you a lesson.
That's strange. This is usually where Edward says, "Do not want to raise us here." Okay. That's a good point. This is usually where Gumshoe does something messed up and Edward complains. Out of ammo, Officer Marshall. That's right, partner. Or as you'd call it, evidence. If Landon pinned me to this crime, then you'd better draw. Otherwise, you're just wasting my time. My steel horse is waiting to carry me back west into the sunset.
One thing seems clear. Despite being responsible for guarding the evidence room, the witness doesn't appear to have seen anything.
Jacksons don't take orders from anyone. Everyone knows that. Only your superiors don't. Alright, I got a trump card on my sleeve, so I best keep my cool. Before I use it, though, I better up the ante. Okay, so here we are. That's got to be the, oh wait, no, back up. I think it's this one here. You were at a street sign on the time it went down. That doesn't make sense because we have your fingerprints. Wherever that, they are. It's one of these things. Here we go.
Objection!
Let's object here. Officer Marshall, doesn't it strike you as odd? That is, you being called in to testify like this. After all, you weren't in the security room at the time of the crime. And yet you dragged me down here. Explain yourself, partner. Fine, I guess. It's quite simple. You left a very large trail behind at the scene. Or to be exact, a handprint. Wasn't real good, partner. Like I said, I'm the caretaker of that crypt. I pay my respects. That is, make my rounds about once a month. It's only natural my fingerprints would be in there.
Objection!
No, you see, I only wish it were, officer. But you see, your fingerprints were covered in blood.
Witness! What's the meaning of this? Your bloodstained fingerprints were at the crime scene?
Blood was wiped away. However, a luminal testing kit, such as this that I'm showing right now apparently, clearly revealed this. Well, Officer Marshall? Seems to me there ain't a person in this room with a head on his shoulders. I take it you have an explanation then, Officer Marshall. Of the bloodstained fingerprints?
Very well, you may begin your testimony about your fingerprints found at the scene of the crime.
That seemed quick to me for some reason. Bloodstained fingerprints, talk to me. Like I said, it's only natural for my fingerprints to be in that evidence room. One of them just happened to be at the same place as the bloodstained handprint. The murderer touched the locker where my fingerprint was by chance. The bloodstain and the fingerprint are completely unrelated. Or didn't you know the murderer was wearing gloves? See? I had nothing to do with it.
The witness's explanation appears valid, although there's room for doubt.
Life wouldn't be fun without any doubt, partner.
The defense may now cross-examine the witness.
Guy's hiding something, I can feel it. Now's my chance to prove it. Before I actually go through that, I just remembered something that I might as well check out now. Like I said, it's only natural for my fingerprints to be in that evidence room. That's fine. I'm not actually going to present something here, but I do want to read through this. Let's go through a reading here. Incident SL9 closed. Perpetrator Joe Dark. Serial murder. Death. Victims: Jones, Knight, Edith Kirby, Rachel Moss, Jeff Bates, Neil Marshall is intriguing because they don't normally give last names that just happen to be the same on purpose. Head prosecutor Miles Edgeworth, witnesses Lana and Emma Sky. Investigation Task Force executive investigators Damon Gant and Lana Sky. Head investigator Bruce Goodman, investigators Jake Marshall and Angel Starr. Let me go back to page 1. Okay, just wanted to read through that real quick. That opens up a whole host of items, but we're not going to get to that right now. So, anyway, like we normally do, let's press. It's because you, how did you put it? Pay your respects once a month? Yeah, that's right. That one more thing. That locker happens to be mine.
What? What do you mean?
I mean what I said. That's the locker I used when I was a detective. The locker I still use. All that's in there now, though, is a heap of broken dreams. I see. It would be strange if my prints weren't all over that locker. Apparently his fingerprint data was never removed from that locker's programming. He must have been using the fingerprint lock all this time without ever knowing. That's almost disappointing. Happened to be at the same place at the same blood print time. Okay. So then, what about the bloody handprint? Wasn't mine. It's no mystery.
Please explain.
My locker is covered with my fingerprints. It just so happened. Oh, you're just gonna say it just so happened that it looks like the same? Yep. All right. The chances of that happening are 1,000,000 to 1. On the contrary, one could argue just the opposite. Chances of that not happening are 1,000,000 to 1. Get one thing straight, partner. You ain't gonna get no reward from me with a mere fingerprint. You wanna know why? Bloodstain are completely unrelated. Unrelated. They're as different as night and day. Kind of like cereal and cereal. One's got to do with breakfast, while the other's a type of murder.
He's right, although seemingly alike, they're totally different.
I don't see what homonyms have to do with this for sure. Or didn't you know the murderer was wearing gloves? Wait a minute. How do you know that? I may be a loner, but I still do my job. I keep up on the reports. There was a bloodstain at the scene, thought to be left by the murderer. That's right. It's found at Detective Gumshoe's locker, sorry. However, no fingerprints were detected on that handprint. Oh yeah, we could try that too.
So that would mean the murderer wearing gloves happened to place their hand on top of Officer Marshall's fingerprint.
That's the only logical conclusion. Are you starting to get the picture, partner? The picture? This seal of blood in the desert's just food for the buzzards. There's only one reality. That's this. The security tape. So long as my trail isn't in there, can't say otherwise.
This isn't getting us anywhere, Mr. Wright. Please consider carefully where you're going with this cross-examination.
Yes, Your Honor, my apologies. Why am I apologizing?
Now then, continue your testimony.
Okay. Too bad it wasn't me in that video, right, partner? Sure, let's press, I guess. Why not? What do you mean by that? You want to tie me to this crime, isn't that right, partner? No comment. If so, that video is the only direct evidence you have. Objection! What? Wait, what? That video is next to useless. It's full of blind spots.
Blind spots?
Places you can't see. The camera's panning back and forth. The floor isn't shown. If someone was familiar with the camera's position, they could just leave the room without being caught on tape. Objection! We don't have time for your speculations, Mr. Wright.
Well, Mr. Wright, you chose evidence in this video that indicates Officer Marshall was present. Please do so now.
There's only one thing that I've got. If that's it, then we got it. And if not, then we're in trouble. Very well. Allow me to point out your mistake, Officer Marshall. Tread carefully, Mr. Wright, or you might wind up being the one making the mistake.
Now then, let's have another look at the video. Show us this incriminating evidence of the witness, Officer Jake Marshall.
Alright, we're gonna zoom ahead. La-di-da-di-da. Nothing happens here. This is fine. That's fine. That's fine. Wait. And here. Bringing our attention back to the security camera is a mistake I'm afraid you'll soon not forget, Officer Marshall. Days are short in Texas. So are our tempers. Could you sum up what you have to say in 8 words or less? Very well. You can clearly be seen in this video. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, yeah. Exactly 8 words. Not bad, partner. The key lies in a certain locker shown in the video.
That locker with the white cloth sticking out. That was the witnesses, I believe.
Now then, let's rewind the video a bit. Alright, we're just gonna go backwards. La-di-da-di-da.
Oh, the white cloth. It's gone. What's the meaning of this, Officer Marshall?
When the crime took place, the white cloth wasn't there. Then it suddenly appeared. There's only one explanation. Officer Marshall, you were in the evidence room at the time of the crime. What's more, you opened your locker when the camera was turned away.
Order, order. It would seem that's the only... Hold your horses.
Sorry, partner, but you got the wrong man. But what if my locker was open? That doesn't mean I'm the one who opened it. The murderer needed to hide something, so he opened the locker and stuck it in. It's not my fault it's happened to choose mine. Why is everyone staring at me like I'm a wanted man? This guy isn't just playing dumb. Apologies for that, I had to bounce out real quick, but now, this guy isn't just playing dumb. He really doesn't know. He just doesn't get it. He's missed the point. I hate to rain on your parade, but you're the only person who can open that particular locker. Oh yeah, I call your bluff. Say I opened that locker. Now prove it. Is there... I'm guessing this is gonna, like, explain it, right? Yeah. Fingerprint scanner, sensor. I was about to say scanner. It's not a scanner. We talked about this earlier today. The lockers can only be opened by the detectives they belong to. What kind of crazy talk is this? Well, Detective Gumshoe did mention something about this. In any case, the locks aren't that obvious. There are even some people on the force that don't know about the fingerprint locks. I didn't think that was actually going to apply, but so, Sheriff, what do you have to say in 8 words or less? I only got 1 word for you, partner. No! Probably not as dramatic as it should have been.
Order, order, order. Witness, explain yourself.
This is a joke. It's the worst I've ever heard. I assure you, this is no joke, Officer Marshall. Now then, please tell us what you were doing in the evidence room at the time of the crime, please. Yeah.
Ole, please answer the question.
So you know, a bullfighter? That's all right, Officer Marshall. I believe we can figure out the rest from here.
We can.
Have a look at these 4 floor plans. There was no place for someone to hide in the evidence room. Yet Officer Meekins didn't see Officer Marshall.
That's so, then where was the witness?
Seems Mr. Wright has an answer. That's right. The only possible conclusion. I think you all know what it is. Let's see if the judge can or we're going to tell the judge. Let's see if we can tell the judge.
Well then, let's hear it. Where was Officer Marshall at the time of the crime?
Well, we get to point it out. It's here. Officer Marshall was standing right here.
There, but that's where the victim, Detective Goodman, was.
No, correct. Unless the man wasn't Detective Goodman. I believe the victim in the video is Officer Marshall. It was you dressed up like Detective Goodman.
Objection!
But that's preposterous. Officer Meekins witnessed the detective at the crime scene. Once he saw the man's face, he'd know for sure.
Objection!
Hold up, hold up, hold up. May I point out that the Officer Meekins did not know Detective Goodman, so testified about the man's reaction when confronted. When I entered the evidence room, I asked him to show him his card. Yes, and then how did he respond? He suddenly pulled a knife on me. Something about the officer's story puzzled me. The man had his ID card, why didn't he just show it?
Yes, he would have needed it to enter the evidence room, so he must have been carrying it.
The answer is simple. He couldn't show it. As you can see, Detective Goodman's picture is on his ID card.
Oh, I get it.
If he showed us that, his cover would have been blown. Officer Meekins would have realized the man wasn't Detective Goodman. Have anything to say about this, Officer Marshall? You've got quite an imagination, partner. You got a term for that. It's called circumstantial evidence. Circumstantial evidence? He's still denying it. You're gonna have to do better than that to break a detective. Unless you have hard evidence proving I dressed up as a victim.
I can't say I particularly care for your uncooperative disposition.
I can't say I care for your beard, but you don't see me complaining.
Well, Mr. Wright, do you have any evidence proving beyond a shadow of a doubt that Officer Marshall dressed up as the victim?
Well, who am I kidding? I don't have anything like that. I can see in the fear in your eyes, partner. Seems you're the one who couldn't take desert heat. Desert heat, not dessert. Oh, this can't be happening. So obvious he's the one. What can I do here? It looks like your lack of experience has finally been exposed. I'll pass on to you what someone told me when I was just starting out. When you've run into a wall with no place to go, return to the basics. The basics? For me, that would be what Mia used to tell me. Phoenix, try thinking outside of the box. I shouldn't look for proof that Officer Marshall was in disguise, but rather I should look for evidence that came about because he was in disguise. Why do you think this locker was opened in the first place?
What do you mean?
There's no reason for Officer Marshall to open his locker at the time of the crime. Yet he did, despite the chance it might be discovered later as it had been. Means he didn't originally plan to open his locker.
According to the defense's argument, Officer Jake Marshall dressed up as Detective Goodman at the time of the crime. Then after the crime was committed, he opened his own locker for some unknown reason.
The fact that a white cloth is sticking out of the locker seems to indicate that he opened it in order to put the cloth inside.
So, just what exactly is this piece of cloth?
Perhaps the video is the key to all our unanswered questions. I think I know what it is. I don't have any evidence, so the video's the only shot.
Well, let's take another look at the security tape. After committing the crime, the witness opened the locker to put away the white cloth. Please show us why the witness had to open his locker.
Alright, we're gonna zoom through this. Alright, all the way at the end. Keep going. Up. Uh-huh. This is the cloth. At least that's my guess. For some reason, you disguised yourself as Detective Goodman and entered the evidence room, though I don't know to what end yet. However, something unexpected happened. Officer Meekins barged in on you. When asked to show your ID card, you pulled a knife on him. However, Officer Meekins panicked, and the white coat you were wearing was soiled with blood.
A bloody white coat.
You couldn't just walk out like that, so you hid the coat in your locker. Not bad, partner.
Now then, Officer Marshall, are you ready to tell us the truth?
Looks like I underestimated y'all. I hope you're happy now, Mr. Edgeworth. 2 years ago, you were only half as persistent then as you are today. We all wouldn't have had to be here now would we? Officer Marshall, tell the court what you did. All of it. All right. Seems the time has come. Marshall's confession. This is where we are going to end this episode. Next time, we hear the confession. Until then, everyone, take care.